Okay guys, welcome to the final of Tournament of the Jaguar. We have a tie, 2-all so far. WiE managing to pull it back from the brink in the last 2 rounds, netting themselves 2 victories, which now matches RDL's 2 victories from the first 2 rounds. The map's going to be clear-cut for the decider. Plenty of options on this map. You've got the opportunity to use aerospace, the opportunity to use a range setup. You could use a brawl setup by moving in between the rocks, utilising the dips in the terrain to block line of sight, get close. You can even make use of artillery if you want. So I expect to see interesting and diverse things from either team.
I kind of do not. I see RDL is starting to buy their assets, and it looks like they're going with the extremity list, with long-range warhammers, light gases, and the Hewitt.
Yeah, I really don't think either team's going to be experimental here and take a long tom or an aerospace. It is kind of strange to have so many rounds go past without one of those two types of units being used, but it doesn't look like we're going to see either of them. It's becoming kind of comedic, actually.
How does it look on the Wolf and Exile side? What kind of list are they going with?
Similar to before ones, we've got 3 Shadow Cats, again the PPC Gauss variant, Hewitt again, of course. The only kind of slightly newer, stranger one we've got is we've got a Mauler coming out. Not really sure about the variant. Looks like it's got 2 PPCs and missiles, probably LRMs, and then UAC2s, I think. MRM40s.
Yep, that's the Mauler D. That has extra armour in comparison to the Mauler, so that's going to be able to tank some damage.
Actually, the only heavy armoured asset in their entire squad, really. Hewitt, a little bit heavily armoured, but nothing compared to, that Mauler there.
RDL is moving out and then going out to the right from their base. I suspect they will go up and take the ridge line since they have all long-range assets.
WiE going for a similar approach, moving out and going to the left, hoping to take the hills over on the western side of the map. Obviously both units trying to play to their strengths here. We've got the anti-air backup and the from the Hewitt on WiE, and the use of the scats is very common to them. So I imagine we're going to see a match kind of similar to the earlier ones. Both teams don't want to give up their advantages.
Of course, this is the decider, so I can understand both units going with something they are very familiar with.
WiE have just stopped pretty much 400, 500 meters outside of their base. They seem content to make use of this hill that's just to the west.
Interesting the way we've got the two teams swapping though between whether they're using faster types of units or heavier types of units to complement their ranged abilities. But I was kind of expecting it to turn into a long-range standoff, but with WiE moving very, very slowly, could be anything now, really.
I'm disappointed not to see any aerospace from either team. I think that could have been a real decider.
Or that long term, RDL has placed themselves on a tiny little hilltop, quite clustered together.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see some one of those types of assets at least. It's kind of surprising not to see any of them at all. But then at the same time, both teams have bought Hewitts to every round, so they have anticipated that, and maybe that's why no one's bought them. They're just worried about those Hewitts.
RDL has set up camp, and it does not look like they intend to move unless they're forced off that hill.
WiE moving out a little bit more to the west. They've left their initial hill and moving more towards the next one in the chain. Cass leading the way with his mauler. Obviously trying to make use of that high amount of armour, just in case if they bump into anything they don't want to.
To be fair, I don't think there's many approaches to the RDL hill that does not expose the approacher to fire.
I think there's any of them, Merv.
Hmm?
I said I don't think there's any approaches to that hill which aren't going to expose it. The closest you could get to without being seen is potentially sneaking through that water, but even then you got a long run up to the hill. There's no way anyone's sneaking up on that lot.
The question is if you can get within effective range of more powerful weapons before you get picked apart.
It would have been interesting to see a long tom mixed with a close range list on this map. I think that could have caused a lot of problems for RDL in particular.
Now, I wonder if WiE have managed to get a visual on them. RDL are standing pretty obviously on the top of that hill, silhouetting, and you know, they're pretty clear if the E-optics can see that far, and I think Kaz has spotted them because he is looking directly at them and not moving.
Something of a game changer here. It does look like Mr. Boo, the Hewitt for WIE, has ramped off a cliff and managed to get himself stuck between two rocks. So
Oh dear.
I don't think he's going to be able to extricate himself, and that could be Alex is coming. It might be he's able to push him out. Actually, I have seen mechs kind of kick tanks out of rock formations before, so it does look like he's going to try and do that. Might be successful.
I see LRMs fired, hitting the hill. Yep,
Yeah.
they should be ELRM. And at the very least they are making RDL move.
Mr. Boo's free.
Yeah, Alex managed to kick him out.
That's good. That means we're not going to have a spoiled final due to terrain
And
issues.
those ELRMs are hitting.
I guess there isn't much RDL can do at the moment. Are they going to be content to sit there and keep that camp up, or are they going to push in and attempt to make use of the weapons that they've got available to them?
A good move by WIE taking ELRMs. Probably actually anticipated something like this, and so they brought them to stop something like what RDL has done. So I mean, they're not going to kill anyone with those ELRMs probably, but it's certainly going to make RDL think twice about staying on the hill.
And they could use this to charge.
I don't know how many they carry, but I've used that mech before, and it's not that many. They might be able to take down one. Awesome if they fired like every ELRM and hit it, but it's not going to be enough to take them down. They will run out of ammunition eventually, but
the more important part is that they have forced RDL off the hill. If they can use these ELRM to scare away RDL, they can use it to advance.
WIE currently advancing alongside the west behind the hill near the lake, so they are trying to make use of this opportunity.
Yeah, the point of those ELRMs is just to make sure that RDL can't just stick on that hill, kind of going, "Oh, come and shoot at us." They're now the ones with the advantage, and RDL are going to be the ones that we have to react to that, which is what they are doing.
And RDL can't know exactly how many of these they have. It could also be that RDL is expecting them to have an arrow launcher or something like that, which would really mess them up. RDL has repositioned most of their guys to go below, right outside their base, well in cover, and they have one guy still standing on the hill, probably scouting a bit. But he's moving down now to join his teammates, I think.
Yeah, I do wonder if he's actually looking for a kind of better view, or whether he simply got left behind.
Could very well be.
Moving back to WIE forces, they're having a little bit of a swim in the lake at the moment, moving north, just keeping themselves covered, playing very carefully. Can't blame them for that. No point going in and getting damaged if you can avoid it.
Do want to be a little bit more careful with those ELRMs. Not the most numerous weapon in the world, and there's a lot of them hitting hillsides at the moment. So those shadow cats moving in very quickly now through that water.
Yep, WIE just has to make sure if it's going to spring this trap that I imagine it's trying to set up currently, it needs to have all assets available to contribute, otherwise we may have a repeat performance of Extremity.
Yeah, it's a common problem when teams try pincer maneuvers. Most of the times I've seen teams do it, you do actually end up with one team engaging, facing heavier numbers, being defeated, and then the larger team turning around and simply crushing the remaining forces. It's very hard to pull off a successful pincer maneuver.
They still left their Mauler, sending those ELRMs in its original position, yes?
Yeah, and he's still
Yeah.
hitting. I just saw some fire impact Furies, and unfortunately, one of the RDL players has just dropped.
That is
yes.
correct. Yes, it looks like one of their awesomes are empty.
Are we allowing players to rejoin and jump back in assets?
I'm not sure, Roy. Are you there to make a call on that?
It's
I
not
would
like
agree.
to be in the middle of a war zone.
And shots have been fired.
I'll go ahead.
I wouldn't think so. It's pretty much go time.
Mouse is sorting that out. But yeah, considering the low intensity level of the combat at the moment, I don't think it'd be a problem. Although WIE now coming up over that hill, going to be in range of striking very soon. Very good maneuver by them as well. I was worried they were going to sweep round directly behind them, which would allow RDL to put that hill between them and the other WIE forces. But with them on top of this hill, it means they're going to be able to fire on those units with the shadow cannons whilst maintaining fire with the ELRM. So very good positioning by WIE here.
Yes, indeed. And they are still moving.
Yeah, they are bringing him back in. WIE agreed to bring the pilot back into his unit, but no restart. Did I see shots fired then?
Yes,
There
you
were
did.
shots fired, yeah, but both teams seem to be holding position now. So, oh no,
Oh, hang on. Do you want me to call it, Roy? For fuck's sake. Why are they engaging? Do you want me to call hold?
I think it's too late now. Really, they're going for each other.